Hello everyone. So a couple of weeks ago I made a video listing 27 of the many things that I love about Red Dead Redemption 2, so I thought that would be fitting that I'd make a follow-up to that video where I talk about the things that I don't love about Red Dead Redemption 2, and actually frustrate me a lot. Like that video, I won't be talking about the huge things about this game that I don't like, because to be honest, there isn't a single big fundamental part about this game that I don't like. So these are going to sound very nitpicky, but keep in mind that this video is supposed to be talking about the little things that happen while playing this game, whether they be bugs, how certain systems work, or just things in general that happen in Red Dead Redemption 2 that I'm not a fan of. First on the list is how weapons just straight up disappear from your horse. Like, you'll be on your horse, you can see in your weapon wheel that you have the weapons equipped, but as soon as you get off your horse, nah, they just vanish. And then you have to go back on your horse and select them, but that's not the end of it, no. Now you get an animation of putting on one of your weapons on your horse and taking one off. Number 2, how weapons don't permanently stay on your back. This is especially frustrating because there's an option in the gunsmith where you can customize which 2 long arm guns you can equip to your shoulder and your back to have on you at all times. So you go to the effort of going all the way to a town with a gunsmith, then you have to select the gun you want to equip to your shoulder and your back, and they do stay on your back for a couple of minutes. And then it goes back to normal where you don't have any long arm guns on you and you have to select them from your horse every time you want to use them, which, as I mentioned in the last point, doesn't always work either. And while we're on the topic of equipping weapons to your back, let me equip the bow to my back. That's a weapon as well. Number 3, the uselessness of the bandana. One little thing I remember being excited for in the weeks leading up to me getting Red Dead Redemption 2 was being able to equip my bandana when I'm about to rob a shop, commit a crime, or just sneaking around with my bandana on and nobody would know that's me. But I can't lie, I was let down by the bandana in this game. Aside from being a gimmick to use in the main story, it provides no actual use while playing the game. It doesn't stop your identity from being known when you commit crimes. I can understand that if you have a $500 bounty in an area and they're extremely familiar with you, a bandana won't do much. But if you have a tiny bounty, or better yet no bounty at all, the bandana should completely protect your identity and the law shouldn't know who you are. Even if you have gained a really large bounty before, if you've paid it off, it should be a clean slate and the bandana should work properly. But that's just not the case and people still recognize Arthur with the bandana on. As with all these points I'm making in this video, it's a relatively small problem, but I do wish that bandanas could have been used more effectively in Red Dead 2. Number 4, being forced to walk in camp. This is one of the most popular complaints about this game, I'd say. Being able to do at most a brisk walk while in camp is frustrating. Just let me run. Who cares if I knock into a gang member? That'll be funny. Just let me run. Number 5, having to set up a camp to fast travel. Number 6, missions automatically equipping certain weapons to you. This actually pisses me off whenever it happens in missions. You'll just be in a mission and the cutscene will end or whatever, and it'll get to the free play part and the game will have just equipped a weapon to your back. And it's always the worst weapons that no one ever wants to use and have objectively better alternatives that the game randomly equips to you. And you're probably thinking, oh, it's not that big of a deal, you can change them with the other weapons you have on your horse, but the thing is, it's always in the missions where you're not by your horse. For example, in the mission in chapter 3 where you're pouring glasses at the Rhodes bar with Hosea, the game just automatically equipped a shitty double action revolver to me, and since we took the wagon there, not our horses, I couldn't change it. Don't do that, let me choose the guns I want to use. Number 7, clunky movement indoors. One critique that I've seen a lot of the more cynical reviewers of Red Dead 2 have is that the movement is too clunky. And to be honest, I never really understood where they were coming from and thought that the movement was perfectly good. But recently I've been going into hotels more and sleeping to try get different interactions, and one thing I've noticed is that the movement indoors could definitely be improved. You have to shuffle around to the exact position by the bed to get the sleep prompt, and it would literally take me like 30 seconds just to get into the right position. I think this is also a problem with the way too small activation areas where the prompts show up, but the clunky indoor movement certainly contributes to it. Number 8, not being able to set up my camp wherever and whenever I want. I'm someone who uses the setting up camp feature a lot in Red Dead Redemption 2, whether it's to sleep through the night, cook, craft or fast travel. And I think generally the amount of places you can set up your camp is very widespread, but there's some areas where you're unable to set up camp, like near cities, near hideouts and near train tracks, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I think the only 3 places you shouldn't be able to set up a camp is in the gang's camp, in towns and in buildings. Everywhere else I think you should be able to set up camp. And I also think that when I set up a camp, the camp should be in the exact position where I was when I pressed the button to set it up. Oftentimes I'd set up a camp only for the camp to be a good bit away from where I was originally when I set it up. Number 9, having to slow down to brush my horse or change my outfit. This is one of those things that they put in for immersion, but I just think it's stupid. Why should I have to slow down almost to a complete stop to brush my horse when I can feed it when it's going at full speed? And as for changing outfits while on horseback, it's already quote unquote unrealistic enough that my outfit immediately changes, so why are we trying to make it more immersive by having to slow down to change outfits? Just doesn't make sense to me. Number 10, no, I'm not cold.
You damn fool, Arthur Morgan, you'll catch your death. Put some warm clothes on.
Are you a fucking retard?
Number 11, not being able to do clean robberies. Maybe I haven't done enough of them, but to my knowledge at least, you can't do clean robberies of shops in this game because literally every time I've robbed a general store or a doctor in a town, things go smoothly, but as soon as I leave the shop, I get a witness or the shopkeeper runs to the lawman and I have to hurry out of the town quickly. It would be so satisfying to commit a robbery and then just slip out of town, undetected, as if nothing happened. It goes back to what I was saying about the bandanas earlier, where that sneakiness aspect is sort of missing in Red Dead. Number 12, when you feed your horse and the animation plays, but it doesn't actually feed your horse. Number 13, my horse falling over the most random things. I won't lie, the majority of the time this happens it's funny, but when you're low on health and getting shot at, and your horse just face plants into a tree or falls over the most minuscule things and you die as a result, it's one of the very few things in this game that makes me rage. Or if you're just after hunting an animal and you have its carcass on your horseback, and when your horse crashes it goes flying off and you have to go get it back, yeah, not very fun. Number 14, not being able to wear any of my custom outfits when replaying missions. This might not annoy a lot of people, but as someone who makes content on Red Dead 2, when I want gameplay of a mission in my video and I don't already have it recorded, I go to replay the mission so I can record it. But for some reason, I can't select any of my custom outfits, and the only outfits I can wear are the 3 default outfits you get as Arthur. The Gunslinger, the Summer Gunslinger, and the Winter Gunslinger. And those are nice outfits, there's nothing wrong with them, but when it comes to the content creating side of it, it makes my recording of whatever mission it is feel way less original than if I was to be wearing my own custom outfit, if that makes sense. Number 15, not being able to sleep on all the beds you find throughout the world. Number 16, how your horse doesn't automatically follow you when you hop on a train. I don't rob trains or hop on trains often, but I can't help but notice every time I do that my horse always gets left behind even if I do whistle for it, because of the bridges, tunnels, and those tight spaces where a horse wouldn't be able to safely ride beside the train, so it goes on these really long routes to catch up to the train and inevitably gets left behind and outside of whistling range. This just takes you out of the excitement of robbing the train because you're constantly thinking about if your horse is close enough and you have to keep whistling for it, and it just sort of ruins the robbery. Number 17, not being able to save game or replay missions or set up camp when you're wanted. Number 18, not being able to customize certain weapons. You might not have known this, but those weapons you find in certain missions, like the rare rolling block rifle that you find in Magicians for Sport in Chapter 3, or the several different handguns you get from the Gunslinger side missions, those aren't customizable at all. And I half agree with that. I think you shouldn't be able to customize the materials or engravings of those guns because they're supposed to be special, unique weapons, but in terms of the components of the guns, like changing the barreling or improving the iron sights, I think we should be able to customize those aspects of them because they just make the gun objectively better. And number 19, last but not least, Denis. I was going to go on a big rant about the pain that is riding through this city, but I decided not to for everyone's sake and the sake of not making this video an hour long. But the fact that I can just say Denis and not even fully explain what about Denis that annoys me, and everyone who's played this game immediately knows what I'm talking about, shows the mental pain and stress this town has given everyone who's gone into it and left with the entire police force chasing them. So before I lose control of myself talking about this cursed city, I'll end it now. So thank you so much for watching this video. As I said at the start, this video is a follow-up to the one I made a few weeks ago, talking about some of the things that I love about Red Dead 2, and the next video I make is going to be a second part of that, because that was only like half of the list of things that I love about this game. So expect to see a second part of that coming out hopefully next week. I'll be going on holidays this Saturday for 2.5 weeks, so I'm going to try schedule that video to come out next week. But yeah, I thought this would be an interesting video to make because so often in the Red Dead Redemption 2 community, we talk about the many things we love about this game, but it's not so often that we bring up the things that we're not so fond of. Which is fair enough because, like I said at the start of the video, there isn't anything fundamentally wrong with this game, but little things like this, which I was talking about in this video, I feel should be talked about more in the community. I hope to get that video out next week, but there won't be a video the week after. I know I said that I want to upload weekly videos for the entire summer, but I'm going on holidays earlier than usual this summer and you can only plan so far ahead. But anyway, that's enough from me. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and you can click on the subscribe button if you think you'd enjoy my content. Thanks so much again for watching this video, and take care of yourselves.